Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Our topic today is Insync. And this is also the fire zone. The fire zone. The no bullshit zone. Zero tolerance. Stop the bullshit. Insync. Brothers and sisters, there's a topic that virtually no one understands. Very powerful topic. I mean, the angel is got, and the Quran, the Quran itself, the Quran is not relevant for right now, but all the scriptures of the past had wisdom in them. They were all mathematical books. If we had them now, they would give you could use the mathematics in them, so they weren't for that particular time. Because where are the scriptures prior to the Quran? The scriptures that Abraham had. And one primary example is the whole thing about Adam in the Quran. See, because that's confusing to most people. They're going to make someone who make mischief and shed blood knowingly that that's what they're going to do. And they tell the righteous angels to submit. And when some righteous angels resist it, then they're condemned. They say, well, that's turning everything on its head. That's turning everything upside down on his head. I mean, why would you do that? And why are you saying that the angels that says they're not going to submit to someone who make mischief and shed blood? Why do you call them in error and you condemn them? It makes no sense. To the analytical mind, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to anyone who does not understand mathematics, understand how the universe works. See, it makes no sense to them. See, but it does make sense. And that's when we come in with Insync. Because what is righteousness is being in obedience to the will of Allah. That is righteousness. All other stuff is incidentals, aviance. See, in submission to Allah, that is righteousness. And the angels that submitted, they were accounted as righteous. The ones that didn't said, no, we're going to continue. Because they said, we celebrate you. Yes, then they said, we love you, Allah. See, and we celebrate your holiness. See, but I'm not going to submit to somebody that's going to make mischief and shed blood. You see? And he says, well, yeah, because you don't know, because you're ignorant. I know what you know not. See, he said that you're ignorant because you don't have a thorough knowledge of self. You don't have a thorough knowledge of the universe. See? Because he says, he taught Adam their names. You see? So it wasn't their natural names that because they knew their names. I mean, he told them their mathematical names. See, that's a hint in there. And we have the same problem today. See? And that's where you separate the believers from the disbelievers. See? The righteous from the wicked. See? The wicked and the ignorant. Because the wicked, the wicked, well, they just, but you have others that are not wicked. Because remember, Iblis wasn't wicked. See? But he was condemned because he wasn't obedient, but he wasn't wicked. See, but Adam was wicked. See, Adam was made wicked, and Iblis was not. He was righteous up until that point. See, he wasn't a wicked person, and even after that point, he still wasn't wicked. He was just disobedient. He was never considered wicked, but Adam was wicked from start to finish. See? So you get Sunni land. They think they're arbiters of the Quran. You know, they're the sacred keepers of the Quran. You know, they don't understand the Quran at all. They don't understand the Quran at all. They got the book and they have no understanding of it. You see, because they don't understand that they are the jinn. See, and they don't have understand who Adam is. They say, well, Adam. See, so we're talking to spiritual people out there. They say, well, Adam is all of us. No, it's not. Because if they're all of us, then who are the angels? And who is just we? Who is just God? See, then you got to see, so in other words, we all of us, and then once you say that Adam is all of us, everybody else becomes invisible. Because you don't know what all the people are. All you know is Adam. So everybody's become invisible. See? And a lot of spiritual land. So you got to, you know, when you map, you got to set your map right. You have to know where north is, or know where south is. You have to know east or west. A map does you know damn good. You got to orientate that map. And you got to orientate the scripture the same way. So therefore, once you orientate it properly, then you can see everybody. See? Because once you understand Adam represents the Europeans, see, and we are the angels, see, then all of a sudden everything is not invisible anymore. See, and then the jinn represent the Arabs. They refuse to submit to Adam and their culture, which you see happen today. See, also everything come into view. See, the only thing you got to figure out who the God is. But if you go and say we're all of Adam, everybody disappears and everything's confusing, and then you walk around with fog glasses on. See? That's why you have to put everything in the focus. Orientate your map. Then you can see. But the Arabs, the Sunnis, they can't see. They're blind. Because they got a map, but they don't know where, they don't have a compass. So what good is a map without a compass? See, they got the map, they don't have a compass. The wisdom that goes with it. See, they got the Quran, but they don't have the wisdom that goes with it. See? Same thing with the Bible. See, when you read Revelations, the one sitting on the throne with the book wasn't God. It couldn't be. Because it says no one in heavens or earth or under earth could figure it out. So if that was God sitting on the throne, well, he's in one of those places, and you claim that he's the one that wrote the book, so he can understand the whole book that he wrote himself, makes no sense. But see, you don't apply critical analytics to this stuff. All you do is just accept it. Oh, I accept on faith. You're in a hot zone. So you're confused and walk around fog glasses on, thinking the universe is all foggy when it's totally clear and precise, mathematical. All you gotta do is take those damn fog glasses off. So, being righteous is being in sync with the universe, in sync with the God who's taken and transferring, because that's what life is, that's what time is. Transforming energy from one form to another. If you don't do that, there's no time. If you say, oh, your watch is time, that's not time. But what if your watch stopped ticking? Does the universe stop? No, it's just a measurement. It's not time. See, time is a transform of energy from one form to another. And that's what happens in the universe. The universe expands and subtracts. But the idea is when it transforms, it doesn't do it by itself. We're the transformation agent. We're the transformation agent. That's why we're the gods. And you have a particular god, and you have how should I say it? Each particular transformation, right, is led by the God of that transformation. In other words, you have different, time changes. And when it changes, you have the God that steps up for that change, right? That's in sync with for that particular change. Because right now, at the time of Adam, the God that stepped up then, right, was Yaqub. See, he was the God that stepped up then because he brought this reality in. He brought Adam in. See? So he's the God of this particular time. See? Because he transformed energy to this form. See? And why did he do it? Because he was keeping it sync with the universe. See, so he's the righteous God because at time this was a time of energy deprivation, right? And so it was time for a wicked person to rule because what you call righteous people could not rule. The original people could not rule because they were suffering energy deprivation. So he made a stripped down version of us that could rule. But so it'd be a time of wickedness because the wicked people would be ruling. But it was time for that. And for you to move from A to Z, you had to pass through that time. So you had to stay in sync with that time. And for us to stay in sync with that time, we had to submit to that rule of those people, or this reality. Otherwise, we would not move past this reality to the next reality. So you can't get to Thursday if you don't get past Wednesday. And if Wednesday's a bad day, then you just got a bad day if you want to get to Thursday. If you can't accept bad days, then you lost on Wednesday. You'll never get to Thursday. And so we had a bad day, and so God came along to have somebody to rule that bad day. We don't let things collapse. See? So Adam was in sync. He was in sync for that period of time. But now he's out of sync because that period of time is over. Now he's out of sync. Now it says, and at that time, the disbelievers, they are the wrongdoers. Now why the Quran says, I wondered about that for a while when I first read that point. I says, why it says at this time, the wrongdoers, right? The disbelievers are the wrongdoers. I says, you mean they weren't wrongdoers before? That fits right into what I'm saying. Because before that, they were in sync, so they weren't wrongdoers. But once they fell out of sync, then they became wrongdoers. The disbelievers weren't wrongdoers during their time. So they was given power to rule. They was given guidance, as the Quran says, right? They was given guidance and time and period to rule in, right? And then when that time was over, they were no longer, right, being synced to rule. Now, this is what I want to get into here. Now, you take the Europeans, for instance, right? They're Adam. They're Adam and Eve. Specifically, Britain is Adam and America is Eve. I'm not going into details about that. I've broken down presentations concerning it, so you can go and look and look and research it, right? Study it. So I have plenty of presentations out there, and I speak to this quite a bit sometimes. So they're Adam, so they had time to rule. And so during that time to rule, that means they construct this reality according to their nature. Well, not exactly according to nature, but basically the nature. But they had guidance, so they had restrictions. See, they had to be given the law because they couldn't operate totally on their nature. There was no time they could operate totally on their nature. See, because if they were allowed to do that, everybody would have been destroyed. So they had to be given guidance. They had to be given the law. That's what the Bible says. They had to be given the law. They had to be taught how to, see, just because they had power to rule, see, having power to rule and the wisdom to rule is two different things. See, it's like a blind elephant, right? He's got all this power, but he don't have any wisdom because he's blind, but he got a lot of power. So they had to be given knowledge how to do it because they're wicked people. And to maintain that power, they had to have, because power is just energy, but it's disciplined energy. You see, because it's different between having money and investing it and having money just blowing it. See, if you invest it, that means you give power to it, you give structure to it. But if you're just blowing it, it's the same thing with your energy. So you have to have discipline. That's why they was given the Bible and they give certain given laws. So if you do this, then your power will give you rulership. Otherwise, your power would just dissipate, right? And you wouldn't have any power, but you have energy, but you wouldn't have any power. And that for them to rule, right, they had to obey the law, obey what they was revealed to them by the Old Testament, right? And that would give them the power to rule. So that's what happened. That's why you kept seeing they kept falling, because Europeans, they kept ruling and then falling and ruling and falling. It's like the so-called Dark Ages. They fell. They start ruling under Jesus, right? After Jesus came, they ruled, but they fell. They fell. Catholicism and all the idolatry and all that kind of stuff. So they fell for 1,000 years. And then they went back to what they thought were Jesus' teachings. They call themselves the Puritans and and all those names. And they came back and they said, well, we're not following the Catholic Church anymore. We're not following idolatry, right? We're not following fornication. We're not doing any of that stuff anymore. And the power came back. See? And so for the last 500 years, they had power again. But now the power was fading again for two reasons. One, because they're abandoning that knowledge they were given, the guidance, they abandoned it for one. And the other thing is that their time has expired for that type of rule. See? So now it's time for something else. So that means a new God has to come on scene. That's what Elijah Muhammad said. We remain in that condition to another God come on scene, was wise than Dr. Yaqub, that will bring in a new world. See? A new situation. See? He wasn't going to continue this situation. He was going to bring a new situation because the time changes. And he has to keep us in sync with the times. See? Hope you understand, bro. Since I'm taking it slow to get you to understand what's going on here. So they're out of sync, but they're trying to keep us out of sync also. Because to be in sync, remember, to get through Friday, you have to get through Thursday. You understand? So therefore, it's time now for us to have the power to be in sync. We have enough energy to be in sync now. Well, let me put it another way. We were in sync during Adam's rule because we submitted. See, so we were in sync with the times, but that just meant that we was in bondage and everything, but we were still in sync. See, so that's why we survived. That allowed us to survive, right? To get through Thursday, to get to Friday. But now Friday is our time, right? We had the power to be, to move, to come back into rulership again. See, now it's our time to come into rulership again, because remember, you have to not just have the power. I mean, you just not to have the energy, but you also had the wisdom, you understand, to turn that energy into power. And then we at that point where we can turn the energy, we have enough energy to turn into power. See? And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure we never do that. We never transform that energy into power. That's what the demons' objective is. That's their mission. That's the devil's mission. That's everybody on this planet's mission. Because they do not want us to come back into power. But we have the energy, but they're teaching us to misuse that energy. See, going, drink, smoke, everything. See, anything. Don't listen to Elijah Muhammad. Just don't do any of those things. So in other words, you have the energy now to start moving in, but now you misuse that energy because you're not disciplining them. You're not following the guidance of the God that's taking you to the next level. See, to move forward into time. You're not doing it. See? So therefore you won't come back into power. That's what they're doing, trying to stop you from coming back into power. And if they can't just stop it, they want to eliminate you altogether. So they're teaching you, don't, because the book now, they take you, and it's the Injil, not the Quran. It's the Injil, because it tells you in Revelation, that's the book that gives you the guidance to come back into power. So you have the energy, you just don't have the knowledge. You have the energy, you just don't have the knowledge. So you have the energy, so black people got all kinds of energy. You see, in America, black folks know all this stuff and everything else, but they don't have power. How come black folks don't have power? Because they get teaching you to misuse it, right? Oh, vested American dream. You got Farrakhan telling you, you're not going anywhere. You got to stay here. This is the only option you have. So you got a vested American dream. See, you got to stay in America. See, so he's robbing you of your power, and you don't know it because you worship him and everything else. But he's not giving you power. Where is he giving you power? He's telling you not going to separate. You have to stay under the devil's heel. Even if you get to 6 states, you're still under the devil's heel. He wants you to stay under the devil's heel. Everything he's telling you to stay under the devil's heel. He's going further than that. He said, bring them into the NOI. See? Even though out the same breath, he's telling you America's going to be destroyed. So why would he tell you to stay on a ship that's sinking? See? Because he's bullshit. He's lying. He's a demon. His father's a devil, which makes him a demon. It's go by nature. It doesn't go by skin tone. That's a big lie they told. And anyone that has any knowledge whatsoever can easily just dissect that one, because the sperm is alive and the egg is not. It's living material, but it's not alive. You are the sperm. That's how you start out, as a sperm. You didn't start out as an egg. And nothing in an egg can change that. But they tell you, oh, it's skin tone. Well, that's the line the wolf would have. That's in sheep clothing, right? Isn't that the line he would have? It's skin tone. See, I look like a lamb, don't I? What you bother me for? Why he going around eating up all the damn lambs? That would be his message. Skin tone, skin tone, skin tone. Look like a lamb, don't I? Even though he's acting like a wolf. No, don't pay attention to that. I look like a lamb. I'm your brother. You see? I'm your brother. Listen to me. And all the while he's eating up damn. What happened to the lamb, Rosie? Oh, I don't know. She dead. Somebody ate her. See? Oh, is that guy over there? He acts different, don't he? Hey man, would you visit all this division for, man? I'm your brother, man. Look at me. See, he's a damn wolf, and they keep pushing the skin tone. The skin tone on you. It's a lie. It's nature. The Bible tells you beware of wolves in sheep clothing. It also tells you about beware of chaff sown amongst the wheat. But you better get up on that one, because it says half of the blacks in America are demons, massive seed of rape for 400 years. They had a 600-year reign. There's a 600-year reign that it said it will reign undetected, right? Unnoticed, unrestrained for 600 years until Suleiman came and Jesus came and identified them and dispatched them. He just exposed them and disposed them. He says no one could do it but him. And now he's on the scene. He's exposed who they are. They're not yours. They're skin folk. They're not kinfolk, right? And they're not our brothers. They're our sisters. They devils in black skin. Period. Anyway, see, their ideas that keep us out of sync with the God. Because now you have a new God on scene that's bringing in a new reality, right? Transforming energy to one form to another, because the time has changed. So he keeps us in sync. The God keeps us in sync with the changing universe. We cannot stop the universe from expanding and contracting. That ship has sailed. Only one can stop that is the first God, Allah, the first originator, the original God that started the expansion of the universe. And the angels tried to stop him from doing it. They said, no, don't expand the universe. Don't expand it, right? Because everything is perfect. I mean, why would you want to change perfection? We have all the energy in the universe we have. And now you're going to expand it. You're going to take energy. You got to take energy away from us to expand this universe. And they resisted. They resisted. They didn't want it. But once he ignited expansion, the cave is called Big Bang. Once he initiated that, then no one can stop it from expanding. No one can stop it. That's the only time it can be stopped. As the first God has to say no, then he make the universe inert, and eventually it will just stop. There will be no life at all. Because you have to have life, right? Has to be, right? Motion has to be transforming energy from one form to another. If you're not doing that, there's no time. That's what time is. So time stops. Everything stops. So the universe just stops. And once it stops, it will never start again, because there's no one to start it again. See, this idea of self-creation is misunderstood. We didn't self-create ourselves, right? The messenger, he may misunderstand it, because he said we had no birth record. So we wasn't self-created. I mean, how can you self-create yourself? I mean, you have to exist. I mean, if there's nothing, how does nothing become something on its own? It makes no sense. We always have been here. We've been here always. We always will. It tells you in Hebrews, right, that we've been here always. Hebrews 7, read it. It says, and God, it says it clearly that God's a man. He says Melchizedek is a God. He had no birth record. He had no beginning of life, no end of life, right? No mother or father. That means he's the God. And it makes it very clear. But he's a man. I mean, that's a statement in the Quran that is in Hebrews 7 that's definitive. It says God's commands clearly. Clearly. See, not no spirit being. You better read it, Hebrews 7. You see? So, the thing is that we're moving forward through time. We have to stay sync, and we have to stay in sync. And so the universe is expanding. By expanding, that means things change, and we have to keep up with that expansion. We have to keep up with those changes. And so the scientists write history every 25,000 years, right? And these write these books, and these books are delivered depending on the different changes that the changes that take place during that 25,000 year period. And the God steps up, and he's the God of that particular change. Yaqub stood up to be the God of the change of this reality we're in right now. See? And this reality was a reality of one of wickedness because of our energy deprivation problem. And we said energy deprivation is a result of all energy in the universe used to be here, but it's out there now. So we had less energy than we used to have, but we went to the point where we had less energy than we required. That's energy deprivation. And once you have that, that means you lose the power to rule. You lose the power to maintain yourself. See, that's why we end up in slavery, because we could not control ourselves. See? We lost the power to control ourselves, so therefore we was under the thumb of Adam, but he wasn't supposed to do what he did to us. He was just supposed to use us as servants. We were supposed to submit to him, but we wasn't supposed to kiss his ass. He was not supposed to abuse us as he did, and that's what he's being judged for. He's not being judged for ruling, because he was made to rule. How can you judge somebody for doing what you told him to do? See? So he went overboard. He went beyond the limits of Allah. So I want to talk about him for a minute. See, their time is up. Now, they could remain around for another season, another 500 years. Our season is actually 600-year periods, because it's 6 times 4 is 24. See, people don't notice that. But there's 4 seasons to a year, but there's also 4 seasons to an Earth cycle, rotation cycle. Axis cycle. Each is 6,000 years. That's why Adam has 6,000 years. See, those are like periods, right? So they could be around for the next 6,000 years. But how would they have to do that? See, because that's why you're in sync. Because now they don't have the power to rule anymore. But they're still trying to rule, and that's what's going to destroy them. So you have power to take something, so you take it. But when you alone have power to take it, but you still hold on to it, right? Then there's going to be a problem. Because either they're going to break your arm, taken away from you, or you'll be pulled off of your position, holding on to it, because you no longer had the power to control it anymore. See, but you're still trying to hold on to it. But if you let it go, then wherever you're standing, you stand in your position, right? You still have your arm. But if you try to hold on to it, you're going to be moved off of your position, or you're going to lose an extremity, because you no longer have the power to hold that anymore. And see, you see the world as it is now is a reality. This is a reality that they gave form to. This reality, because they had power to do it. Like you see where Taiwan, you see this thing, they're having with Ukraine. You see India and Pakistan. You see all these different divisions all over the planet, right? In Arabia, you got now all these different countries, Iraq, Iran, stuff. All those countries didn't exist before. This is Europeans going in here and giving new form to civilizations, or new form to nations. Just like Africa did not exist in the way you see it right now. They made up all the different countries, and that's why you got a lot of conflict, because they would take people, right, and they take one country and divide it into 3, 4 countries, then mix with other countries. So then you got conflict because people don't identify with you. You locked into a country with people that you don't identify with. So to be in sync, remember, if they're in sync, then they survive, they continue on. So to be in sync, that means they have to give up all the things that they took control of, but they see trying to control everything. They're still trying to control everything. So they would have to say, okay, let Russia have Ukraine back. Let China have Taiwan back. See, you know what I'm saying? Let the Arabia reform itself, right, to the form it was before they came along. You understand? Put us back where we were. See, they would have to go back and put the things back like before they took control of it. And if they do that, they'd be in sync. See, that means they could survive another maybe 6,000 years. And then they would have to, America would have to pack up and go back to Europe. They'd have to give up all that they took the last 500 years. Going back 6,000 years actually, but especially the last 500 years because they had rulership. And that's the first time any Europeans had global unification. That's why I say Gog and Magog at chapter 20 will go out. There was only been two world empires and two European world empires in history. Now, that's first the British, that's Magog, the mother of Gog, and then America. So they have to give everything back. You see that story in Jacob and Esau is that Jacob, right, Yaakov had to give everything back to his brother in the end. On the way back, his brother's going to kill him. And he kept giving stuff back to him, right? Okay, here's this back. All the stuff he's taken from him. And his brother didn't say anything. And he gave him some more. And everything, because he had all of it, right? So he had all from A to Z, right? All the stuff. So he'd get back A. Yes, so didn't break a smile. Give him B. He didn't break him out. He kept on, man, until he gave back all the way to Z. And then he said, okay, he gave back everything they took from him. And that's what they would have to do. But they're not going to do that. So that means they're going to lose extremities. They're going to lose their position. See? They're going to destruction. Because America's about to have his arm broken and snatched away. It's about to have his leg broken and snatched away. It's about to be beheaded. See? It's about to move from their position, America altogether, because there won't be any Europeans in America at the end of this year. By next year, there won't be any, because they're going to be removed. You see what I'm saying? Because they're trying to hold on to something. They can't hold on anymore. Their time has passed, but they're still trying to hold on. They're trying to hold on to power. But now it's our time. And everybody's trying to prevent us from having power. Because we have the energy to have power. Though right now we're going through the time of Jacob's trouble. So we got that brief period I've talked about. But as soon as that period is over, right, that's the water breaks, the new nation is born, right? And we have power. And that's why it says in Angel in Revelation, he took back his great power and reigned. He took back his great power and reigned. See, and that's what will happen. And we'll be in sync. See, the 145,000, it says they're in sync. That's why it says they followed the Lamb wherever he went. That means they're in sync with him. And he was in sync with the God because they were both in sync together. See, you got to understand, that's what makes righteousness. All this other stuff is bullshit. It helps to be good to other people, right? See, but Adam and Eve, they weren't good to other people. They was making misery, shed blood. But they was considered righteous. You see, but now that time is past. That time is past now. You see, so now if they give back everything they've taken and confine themselves back in Europe, they could survive another 6,000 years. They could make it through. See, but they wouldn't be rulers. They wouldn't have the power they had before. See, but they would exist, but they won't do that. And that's where the war is coming in, because they can be torn apart, torn to bits, trying to hold on to power. You see, America's trying to hold on to power. They're so desperate to hold on to power. They're getting ready to go to war with another country that's a nuclear power. That's totally insane. See, because the problem is that this is all about pressure, brothers and sisters. Your thoughts are pressure. Your mind is pressure. This whole thing is about pressure. About everything on the earth here is all about pressure, mental pressure. Mental pressure. Because, what about the military? Well, no, when somebody has to come out of somebody's mind. That's an extension of the pressure of somebody's mind. Everything here is controlled by somebody's mind. See? So it's pressure, it's still pressure. See? But now the pressure is too great for the Europeans because their time is over. So now the pressure is greater than they can withstand. That means their minds are going to turn back on itself. They're going to do things that don't make any sense. They're going to start attacking each other because the pressure's too great. Because when pressure causes things to collide, right? That's what pressure is. Pressure causes things to collide. You understand? That's what pressure, when molecules are colliding, the more collisions, the more intense the collision, the greater the pressure. So now they're starting to collide with each other because the pressure is too great. And they can't handle it. So they're starting to collide with each other. That means the collision gets more and more intense until it gets to war. Right now, what you're seeing, a collision, but it's not the collision that's going to actually ignite Armageddon, but they're colliding. So we see they're colliding right now, and the collision is going to become greater and greater and greater. You see? Because in the Middle East, what we see, you see the Iranians, but they're Caucasian on their mother side, so they're part of the Caucasian world, right? And so they're going to be colliding with them. The other Europeans are going to be colliding with them because they have Caucasian, but that's because they're porcelain mixed with steel, and the Europeans are just porcelain. That means steel will destroy porcelain. That's why the Iranians, and when that war starts, they will prevail because steel, they have steel and half porcelain. See, but all the Europeans are just porcelain. And so when they collide, right, the steel and the porcelain that the Iranians have is going to be enough to crack the porcelain and the other ones. Hope you understand. I'm trying to give it to you from a mathematical point of view. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. And when we see right now in Ukraine, we see the collisions, we see they're colliding, right? But not enough yet for Armageddon, because Armageddon starts in Europe. See? So we see colliding, but not enough, right, for Armageddon. See? But that was started in the Middle East and then spread into Europe. That's the real one. So don't be dismayed by what you see. Oh, everybody's upset about what's going on. I ask people, I'm at the gym and think, hey, brother, them people don't talk to me normally because I don't talk to anybody at the gym anyway, but they come up, what you think about this war? They all excited about it. I tell them, what you worried about? This ain't the one, right? See, they worried because it sounds stupid. Even ignorant people say, wait a minute, hold it. Why would America want to go to war with another nuclear power? How could that end? How could that end? Because if they defeat Russia, Russia's going to say, okay, they're not going to use their nuclear weapons as a backup. See? They got this thing called the death hand. The dead hand Russia has. I looked it up. See, in other words, they have there's a mountain in Russia, right, where they have this supercomputer, and it checks certain things to see if there's life still going on in Russia. And when it sees it is not, in other words, maybe electricity, it does something. There's some BIOS or something that it checks. It's connected to whatever, in whatever they design it. So when this thing decides that there's no viable life or structure going on in Russia, that Russia's been disabled or destroyed, then it sets off a whole range of nuclear weapons all over the world, destroy the whole world. See? Yeah, I mean, you've probably heard about these in movies and stuff like that, but America may have some similar, but they have that in Russia. See? Because they said, if we're not here anymore and we don't have that control, we destroy everything. See? These people are diabolical. See, I'm not pulling for any of them. I want to see them all gone. But you have to put things in sync. And it's not time yet, right, for them to go to war. America's not at war with Russia. See, it's against it, but it's not at war with it. It will be in war with it before the year's out. But it's not at war with it now. And it won't be in war with them until after the war breaks out in the Middle East. With Iran, between Iran, America, Britain, and false Israel. And America, that's what it tells you. America and Britain will be kicked out of the Middle East, leaving false Israel isolated and under siege and taken. And that's the abomination of desolation. So when you see false Israel under siege, the abomination of desolation stand in a place where it should not be, because they should not be there. They're victim. We are victim of identity theft. They're stole our identity. They're claiming to be something they're not. See? So, when you see them under siege and about to be destroyed. It says flee because because this whole world is that's this cornerstone, this reality that they're the true seed of Abraham, and almost international politics and everything is based on that false lie, that falsehood. See, so the whole idea, if you're Abraham's seed and you return, you cannot be uprooted, you cannot be destroyed. That's why when you see it's under siege, right? It says flee because it says desolation is nigh. Because once it's destroyed, they're going to realize that you the true seed of Abraham. And if you the true seed of Abraham, what does that mean? That means they're out of sync with God. They're out of sync with God now. You see, that all the stuff happening to them is because God is destroying them. And remember, at that time, America is going to be under intense pressure. Everything's going wrong with America now. But when they, at the time that when they have, when the time of when this war takes place in the Middle East and false Israel under siege, America's going to be in political, financial, social, economic distress. See, because that's the beginning of the 9 plagues they talk about in Exodus. And so, and they're going to wonder what's going on. And see, because their idea is that, see, what gets them through that period is that their whole idea is that false Israel is truly Israel, and their theology, right, is that when they're under stress like that, and when false Israel is under siege and about to be destroyed, that's when Jesus is going to come back, and everything's going to be glorious. They're going to take and save false Israel, and they're going to get rid of the Arabs, and they're going to get rid of the Ham, the niggers, and they're going to change. He's going to make the new world. He's going to bring the world in. They're going to be for Christians and so forth, so on. See, so that doesn't bother them so much that all this hell is going, because to them that means Jesus is on the way. That gives them comfort in all the stress that America's been going through. That gives them comfort. See, because America's under great stress right now, and it's going to be under intense stress in a few more days. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Look, the economy is going, the inflation. Right? See, and all the confusion is going, and it's going to get worse and worse every day. Because they're planning to kill us. That's another thing that they're doing. But it gets worse and worse every day. So at the time when America gets defeated, and Britain gets defeated, they already had this thing off Afghanistan. They have this debacle going on in Ukraine. When they defeated, that's going to cause even more distress in America. You see, so they got all this. And then false Israel under siege. And that gives them hope. Because that means, okay, it's all right, we're suffering all these things, because that means Jesus is on his way. That means that's just showing Jesus on the way. So that gives them comfort in severe stress, in the fear of pain and suffering. But then, when false Israel is taken down, which cannot happen because Jesus is supposed to save them, when it's taken down and no more, that means they wasn't true seed of Abraham, and Jesus wasn't coming to save them. That means all the stress and everything they're suffering, and that the idea that Jesus will come in and save, that gave them the comfort to get through it. Now they lost that, but now they're faced with the distress and the plagues and all this stuff, and they have nothing to comfort them. See, and who's the reason why this is going on? You. That's why I say flee, because they're gonna make that calculation instantly. That you must receive Abraham. You're the reason why we on this hell, God catching us hell. And these people are very paranoid. They can't take any suffering. And all of a sudden, because it's not the army that's going to get you. It's not the police force can't come and get all black folks in that fast. And the army can't. Remember, they're telling you have no time to think. You have no time to make a phone call. You can't even go back in your house. You can't go back in your house for anything. You just got to flee. When you see that, flee immediately. That means your next door neighbor is going to get you. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. But you have to understand this thing called Insync. See? And so, therefore, a prophet and a messenger always come to show you how to get in sync. And those that listen, they're successful. Those that believe, and they move on to the next level. They go from the first floor to the second floor. They go from January. They go from January to February. They go from Monday to Tuesday. But those that don't, they stop on Monday, right? And it's frozen on Monday. And the rest of them, so when you go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the further you go in time, the further back they are until they totally lost back in time. destroyed. And that's what you have. Because you got these people claiming Elijah Muhammad. They're not in sync. They're out of sync. They know they're out of sync because they have no idea what's going on. They can't anticipate anything. They have no idea what is going on. You had Lion Farrakhan and his so-called swan song speech, his so-called farewell speech, right? Talking about, oh well, this war is gonna spread. See, the war with Russia is gonna spread, and then they're gonna come and lock him up, and they're gonna crucify him. Then he's gonna go up to yonder and all this bullshit. No, because he's out of sync. He has no idea what's going on. He's guessing. He's guessing. It's not gonna happen like that. So I'm putting my word out there. It's not gonna happen like that. It's hot over there, but that's not the trigger that's gonna cause Armageddon. The trigger is called Armageddon. It's gonna be in a war in the Middle East, and then they're gonna go to war with Russia because they're gonna blame. Because when Iran and Syria, the Shia, right, when they take and knock out America and Britain out of the Middle East, nobody's gonna accept that. Just like they can't accept the fact that those sheepgoaters, whatever, sheep herders in Afghanistan was able to kick out America. They had no army, no navy, they had none of that stuff, no tanks, no planes, but they was able to defeat America after 20-some years. And in the Vietnamese, they was just rice farmers, and they was able to do it. And so they can't say, well, how the hell Iran beat America, the strongest, most powerful country in the world, and Britain, and false Israel. And they're going to say, well, Russia. And like I said, it's my opinion that all this stuff with Ukraine is distraction to keep America distracted. Because they get ready to go to war. They planning to go to war. They tell you. See, it's off the radar right now, but they was telling you before this stuff came with Ukraine. Remember what the news was before this Ukraine started. They was preparing for war with Iran. False Israel had publicly said they was going to war with Iran. They publicly said, they said allocate so much money, and they actually going, and America was giving them equipment, and they was getting these planes, right, and they was testing, they was practicing runs to go and attack against Iran. That was on the table. Iran trying to get them back to the JCPOA, which they said looked like it's worse and worse. They're having a hard time. They said it looked like it's not going to happen. The negotiations about to come to the end. And that was the news. All of a sudden it's off the news now. You see? Because Russia is the monkey wrench in the whole thing. Because they fear that Russia might interfere if they attack Iran. So now Russia's distracted over here with Ukraine, which he's not putting to cause the problem. It's America pushing that problem because they could have stopped this immediately. All they had to do is say Ukraine will never be part of NATO, and that's what he demanded. They wouldn't do it. See, all they had to say that would be no conflict, because he said that's never going to happen. See, so this is a conflict that NATO and America is manufacturing. So he said, why are they manufacturing? Even people on the news saying, why are they manufacturing this thing? See, because I think it's a diversion to keep Russia busy over here while they sneak attack Iran. That's my opinion. I'm not saying it's probably, that's my opinion. So we'll see. But that will happen first. And that will prove Farrakhan just a big lie, just guessing. But in sync, brothers and sisters, if you're not in sync, you're not righteous. See, we submitted. So we were in sync. Though we suffered for 400 years, we were in sync. That way we survived, right? To move to the next level. So we came in as angels and we're going to return as gods. Because we're in sync. But the Arabs were in sync. That's why they haven't had a victory. Look over Arabia. They haven't had a victory in 500 years because they're out of sync. They're the jinn, refuse to submit. They're out of sync. See? And they understand the Quran is pathetic. So they're out of sync. That's what it means, brothers and sisters. Be in sync with the times. And for this period of time, being in sync, the wicked was the ones that were successful. And that's why you see the demons were successful. They did it wicked. They just got skin tone. They got black skin tone, right? They weren't as wicked as successful as their fathers, because father was totally wicked. They was 100%, right? They weren't suffering any deprivation, right? See, but the demon children, since they had black face, well, they had a little bit less energy, right? See, I mean, they didn't require, they required a little more energy than their father. They didn't go energy deprivation, but they didn't have as much energy, exposed energy as their parents, but they had a lot more than we did. So therefore, you could see them they would be successful in this society, in this reality. They would be successful in it. That's why you see them in the news, and the reporters, they're politicians, they're sports figures, everything else. Those are master's children. They're demons. Get with it, brothers and sisters. I know you like them. You want to be your role models. Same thing. You liked them when you was back in the fields because you wanted to be like them. You admired them, or you try to be nice to them because you figured if you be nice and everything, you work hard, that you be in the mass house wearing nice clothes, eating better food, and not work as hard as like they were. But you was never going to be in there because master was never going to let you in there because he didn't trust you. He trusted them because he knew that was his seed. But you was never going to get it. But they was your role models. So you look up, oh man, if I be good, I'd be like them. If I obey master, I'd be like them one day. You still thinking like that right now? If I be good, be a good America, I wave the flag and everything, I could be like Oprah one day. I can be like Denzel one day. I can be like Martin Lawrence one day. I can be like Jay-Z one day. They're all master's children. You better get with it's not so's vision. I'm trying to give you the mathematics of what's going on. See, you didn't know what a demon was till I told you. Now I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you the effect it's having on you, and you don't want to hear it. So you keep on dealing with those demons, and they're destroying you because their whole purpose is to destroy you. See, to get you from coming to power, to trick you out of your. That's what happened. What Jacob was tricking Esau out of his inheritance, and they're trying to trick you out of it, trick you out of your power. So get you out here and homosexuality, free love, concerts, right? Drugs. All this stuff, right? To misuse your energy so you never use it to come back into power. Because once you come into power, it's all over for them. Because now that's what being in sync is. Being in sync with the God. Master Prophet Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad came out and set the stage for Suleiman to come, the messenger of the covenant. And he's the one that gets you in sync with the God who is moving into the next reality. And if you're in sync, then you move into the next reality. If you're not, then you lost in time. You're a time anchor. And you're not going to be successful because you're trying to, basically you're trying to keep what you're doing is you're trying to stop the universe from expanding or attracting. You're trying to stop the flow of the universe because you're trying to stop time. You're trying to stop the whole time back 1,400 years to the empire of Prophet Muhammad. You're trying to reestablish that. You're trying to reestablish the time of Elijah. You see them, they're trying to establish the time of Elijah. They're not successful, and they will not be successful because their time is past. Now it's the time of the messenger of the covenant. Now it's the time of the angel. And if you're not in sync with that, right, then you're going to fail and you're going to get weaker and weaker every day. And eventually you're going to be burned up. See? Because anything left in the past is burned up. Do you see the past anywhere? Does the past exist? Does the past exist, brothers and sisters? Where exists the present? If you're in the past, you're going to be burned up with the past. If you hold on to the past, you're going to be burned up with the past. The past does not exist anymore. See? And present is just a fleet. There's no such thing as a present. It's just you got the past, transition to the future. The present is just a transition point. See? By definition, if you think present is just is not. There's no such thing as a period of time that's the present. It's just a transition between the past and the future. And the past no longer. Once you transition to the future, the past no longer exists. And those hold on to the past, they will no longer exist either. See, oh well, Sunnism, that's holding on to the past, right? See, you got to hold on to those previous books. Told you how to deal with those particular periods of time, those seasons. They don't exist anymore because those seasons don't exist anymore. Those time periods don't exist anymore. So now we're in a time period now that is for the angel. That's what it tells you, the angel and the messenger of the covenant. So if you're in sync with them, then you move from Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you're in sync, then you're stuck in Monday. See? And when you're stuck in Monday, when Tuesday comes, Monday no longer exists. Brothers and sisters. Okay. I think I'm kind of leave it there. Right? See? In sync. Oops. Need to be in sync, brothers and sisters. And the thing is that as far as Suleiman's concerned, right? He sets the criteria for you to be in sync. You can't set it yourself. You can't come and say, I want to do it. Well, then you're going to be lost. Because he tells you exactly how to be done. Because Elijah Muhammad told you Islam is everything is right, exact, right down to modern times. That means in sync and right and exact. See, and you're not going to find anybody more right and exact than Suleiman, other than Master Farad Muhammad. See, Suleiman, he has the job of babying you, like you have to put diapers and stuff on a child. But at some point, right, they have to start boo-booing, they have to start taking themselves to the bathroom. They have to start walking on their own. They have to start eating their own food. See, so he give you a brief period, but once that time comes, if you ain't, then you got to go. You can't come in here and tell like you want to do it like you want to do it. See? And you have to keep up. When you was Elijah Muhammad, you had to keep up with Elijah Muhammad. He did not play. You sold 300 papers a day or you was gone. Period. No excuses, nothing. 300 papers a week, period. See? And so therefore, you know what I'm saying? Because we have, the point is, if you want to represent this message and you want to get in sync, you have to be in sync, not 95% in sync. In sync means 100%. That's what in sync means. If you only aligned 95% or 90%, you're not in sync. By definition, you have to be 100% to be in sync. So if you're not in sync, then don't pretend you are in sync. Because if you represent this message, you better be in sync or you better step back. Because you're not going to send that message that you can be 98%. And that's okay, because that's a lie. Because if you're 90%, you're going to remain in the furnace. Because you have to be 100% pure gold. That's what it tells you in Malachi. You have to be 100% to make it into the hereafter, to make it into the Lamb's Book of Life. So if you're sitting around here with your 98% self and presenting yourself as that you're pure gold, right? Then you're deceiving the people, and you're getting a false idea that maybe they can be 90% and not survive, and they're gonna get burned up, because that's not true. They have to be 100%. So if you're 100%, you better back up and find something else to do. See, because you're passing false information. They got to be 100%. You see what I'm doing? They have to be 100. They have to keep up with me. They have to be. I've been 100% behind Master Muhammad, right? Except for one period of time. But then I was still up. I was out of sync with him. I was in sync with the scripture. So that's another little complicated thing. But I got myself out of that. I'm staying in sync with him. See that little thing about Jonah? He went off and did his own thing because he didn't want to listen to what the God said. I got out of sync. But I'm back in sync now. See, I wasn't back in sync no more. I was sync because I had to see. The point is that I made a distinction between scripture and God. You see. But you can't make that distinction. See? So I'm in sync with the God. See? Because script, see, that I try to point that out to you all. I try to tell you, right, that we're not defined by scripture. Scripture doesn't control us. Scripture just tell us what they saw we was doing and they wrote it down. And see, at that time I still was a little hazy about that. You see? See? So I'm still thinking I'm still controlled by scripture to some extent. And I'm out of that. I don't have that problem anymore. And that's what got me in trouble, that Jonah thing in Guam. See? So now I realize the God makes scripture, not the scripture makes the God. See? So that's clear up in my mind. I don't suffer from that misunderstanding anymore. Right? The God, you got to keep up with him. See? You got to keep up with him. See? You got to keep up with him. See? Him. Got to keep up with him. See? Elijah Muhammad kept up with him, and he's still with him. You got to keep up with him. That's the God. Keep up with the God. You got to keep up with him. See? Because he's transforming time, energy from one form to another. He's bringing in a new reality. See, Yaqub's reality is past tense. See, their laws are going to be lost in Monday. But when we long, we'll be in Friday. And all these time anchors and everything else. Oh, I'm Elijah Muhammad. I'm the message of the black man. Okay, well, you hang on with that. You stick back there on Tuesday. See? Because when we come to Sunday, we don't even know about you anymore. So you might not even be a memory. In sync, brothers and sisters. You see? If you're not 100%, and if you're not 100% with with the God, then you're in sync. You're not in sync. And you want to be in sync, that's righteousness, to be in sync. If you want to move into the future, to a new reality, you have to be in sync. You can't be 98%. So you can't be 98% on the second floor. And how can you be 90% on the second floor and 2% on the first floor? How can you do that? You have to be 100% on the second floor or 100% on the first floor. You have to be a pure gold. It tells you have to be pure gold. See, so if you ain't representing this here and you ain't in sync and you ain't following the criteria that I outlined to you, right? If you ain't doing that, then you misrepresenting, you fooling the people, you're deceiving the people because you're thinking, oh, all you have to do is 98% and you'll be okay, and that'd be a lie because they will not be accepted. All you gotta do is, it's like if you was running track and they say, oh man, all you gotta do is run a mile in 7 minutes and you qualify. And they know the qualification is really 5 minutes. See? So everybody think, oh man, I can all summer. I mean, I can do 7 minutes now. And then when the time comes for the qualification, the trials, then they can't make it because they need to be 5, at least 5 just to qualify. See, they was deceived, but they was all happy because, oh man, I got 7. And they found out that no, they really need 5. So now they're not ready. And if you go out here and keep on, I'm telling you, I warned everybody, you better be 100%. I gave the criteria, right? You got to set the example. If you're going to represent this, you got to set the example. The people so they know, because otherwise you're deceiving them. And say, oh, all I got to do is that. All I got to do is that's what I got to do is that. All I got to do is be 75%. And then they still in the furnace. How come I'm still in the furnace? I got 75%. No, because you got to be 100%, buddy. I'm not accepting anything other than 100%. You better check the scriptures out again. It says it will be 100%. If you're 100%, get the F out the way. Get back. Get out the way. You ain't representing this message. Now I gave everybody a clear warning on that one. You're not representing this message. And you're deceiving people because they think that's all they need to do is what you're doing. And that's going to get them there. It's not. So you're 100% or get back. Say you represent something else or stay in the background. We don't need, I don't need anyone come out here doing presentations. I'm happy to do it all by myself. But if you're going to do it, you better do it 100% my way or don't do it anyway. This is my message. It's not, I don't share this message with anyone. I let somebody come in and help if they want to, but it's my message. Only one person broke the seals. Only one. Not even the God. So it's my message. They make it clear it's my message. So if you don't do it my way, then get back. And there's no compromise on that. None. 0. 100% or get back. Period. Now I'm not going to make that. I'm not going to have to repeat that again. Believe me, I've already made it clear. INSYNC, 100%. That's what INSYNC is. And people have to know what the criteria they need to get home. That's why it says, Master Father Muhammad said, you need a thorough knowledge of self. He didn't say, well, I'm near 30, my thorough knowledge. Thorough means complete. That's what thorough means, complete. You need complete knowledge of yourself. He didn't say 90% almost. He said, you would not return unless you have thorough knowledge of yourself. He's not compromising. And that's my job, to give you that knowledge. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. See, fire zone out. Okay, brothers and sisters, I think we're going to close out here. It's not a game, brothers and sisters. You misread, you lose. You misread me, you lose. You misread Master Muhammad, you lose. He's going to set up a kingdom that's going to last forever. That means it's got to be perfect. Because there's flaws in it, that means the flaw is going to cause problems. It's a perfect kingdom that's going to last forever. That means you need perfect people. See, and the original people are perfect because they're the ones that bring everything to existence. Everything comes out of them. The original people are perfect, but you suffer imperfection because of energy deprivation. So we have to get the perfections out of you. That's part of the reason why Aaron was left in the wilderness for 40-some years, because we had so much imperfection amongst our people. They had to be weeded out. They had to be phased out, culled. Read it. Because they had so much imperfection, I mean, it couldn't be removed. See, so the younger generation that wasn't corrupted by this evil generation, right? Corrupted by sojourn here in America. See, that younger generation, that's the one that comprises 144,000. See. Because we want pure gold, not accept anything less. Now it's up to you to step up to be that or not. But we ain't accepting 99.9, 99.9999999. We ain't accepting any of that. 100%. See, and if you don't make the first cut, then you gotta. We're merciful. We give you a chance to go the second cut. That's the tribulation. Put you back in the furnace. See if you can run off the rest of the impurities. See, so we give you a second chance. See, but it's going to be hot. See, plus it takes more heat to purify silver than gold, so the Levites, they have to go through the tribulation. See, because we see what happened to them. They let Farrakhan, the demon, deceive them, and they shouldn't have happened after Elijah Muhammad. You say, well, how in the hell could he deceive by that lie after Elijah Muhammad? Because it takes much more heat to purify silver than it does gold. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Insync. Insync, right? Or not. There's no in between. They know it's not almost in sync. You're in sync or you're not. See, you're either dead or you're alive. See, you're on the first floor or you're second floor. See, no in between. So get in sync or get the hell out the way. You want to do your thing, fine. I'm not mad at you. If that's what you want to do, I'm not mad at anybody that does what they want to do. They follow their nature. I have no problem with that. The devils follow their nature. I have no problem with that. Like I tell people, that's not racism what they're doing. It's not, I mean, when they protect their own, that's not racism. It's racism when they came and attacked us. That's racism when you go and attack other people because of their race. That's racism by definition. That's exactly what they did. See, but if they out to protecting themselves and looking out for themselves, and they say, well, I'm going to hire white people instead of black people, that's not racism. That's looking out for your own family. That's your ignorance, because you think, oh man, are they racist because they didn't hire me? Why should they hire you? Get your own damn job. Create your own job. Assalamu alaikum.